Quick recap of the previous video. We did a stock update on ticker symbol SENS and also Oxygen, ticker symbol OCGN. So please refer back to the previous video for updates on those stocks. And in today's stock analysis, we're going to be looking at ticker symbol MMAT and also going to be featuring a new stock on this channel, ticker symbol SPRT. Before we do that, let's just have a quick update on our $1 million challenge. So on the screen here, you'll be able to see that $1 million challenge is a journey from $1,000 investment to $1 million investment using compound return investing. Details in the description below. There is a special video covering this in much more detail, but basically we're looking at completing 201 trades with an average return of 3.5% per trade. However, it's not 201 consecutive trades. We do take into account losses. That's why we were focusing on an average return of 3.5%. We have a spreadsheet of specially chosen stocks for this challenge. We are avoiding the high risk stocks. In terms of Discord community, we have over 200 members working together, sharing due diligence, sharing technical analysis, trading tips, sharing of buys and information. So if anybody wants to be part of this journey, please click in the description below. Join us on this journey of $1 million challenge from $1,000 to $1 million over a period of 3 years. Let's start by having a look at a headline here from an investor place looking at metamaterials. The stock did do very well from Monday. So the headline here I'd like to share with you is the big science news lifting metamaterials higher today. So basically the stock did exceptionally well on the Monday. So we did see that. And what is the reason for this in terms of the article for investors in metamaterials and MMAT? The stock and the environment has been very positive of late, but if we go on to look at the article in a bit more detail, we can see here the producer of high performance functional materials has surged as investors pricing high valuations for high tech stocks. So there is it seems to be an expectation building up here. Previous meme rallies earlier took the stock to above $20. That was pre-merger, and it was also quite brief. However, it certainly looks like right now it seems to be potentially building up for a squeeze. Again, I know we have said that a few times, but the signs are definitely looking good. The stock has become more relevant for investors looking for rapid returns in a short amount of time. I think we are now getting strong support at around about $3. So let's just go to the final part of the article and see what else we can see with regard to metamaterials. So on the final part of the article, we can see here it says MMAT stock is higher on various catalysts. So the first catalyst is that retail, as well as retail interest, MMAT stock has now garnered interest amongst institutional investors. So that's a good sign. The company's focus is on developing a team of experts to guide its research is also one of the key drivers. So we did see some significant recruitment in the company announced earlier in the previous week. So that's a good sign. So institutional investors are now coming on board, and in the final paragraph on the screen here, we can see one of the goals of the board is to assess new opportunities for mergers and acquisitions. Metamaterials has grown in a number of ways, and one has been through acquiring strategic technologies. The hope is that this group of experts can guide such decisions in a way that's positive for our shareholders. So such acquisitions are certainly going to be positive for the stock. I do expect the share price to get some more momentum now going forward. However, as everybody who is holding MMAT will be aware that it is a high risk volatile stock, but certainly we are due some good news on this quite soon. We're going to make a start on today's stock analysis now. Today's stock analysis is for ticker symbol SPRT, support.com. So before we make a start on that, quick shout out to one of the Discord members who said, Ali, can we get a video on SPRT? The business is looking promising, has a merger plan for the end of the month. So not only is the most shorted stock on the market, but it also has the fundamentals to drive a squeeze. Let's get some fellow apes on board for this monster. So let's first of all start by having a look at the 5-day chart for the stock. We can see over the previous 5 days at time of editing, it was up well in excess of 48%. And at time of editing, it was just in excess of $11.17. So exceptional return there over the 5 days. However, now let's have a look at the previous 6 months. And this is where it gets a much more interesting. Over the previous 6 months, the stock has gone up well in excess of 394%. So certainly momentum is good, the chart is good, and let's now have a look at some further details with regard to the company. So let's have a look at some of the technicals for the stock now. So on the screen here, we're going to start by having a look at the 20-day moving average. That's currently at time of editing just in excess of 45%, 50-day moving average just in excess of 98%, and this is where it's certainly showing some good momentum on the long term. The 200-day moving average is just in excess of 222%. So that's certainly positive in terms of long-term growth. Volume is just in excess of 32 million. Average volume 6.27 million per day. Percentage change on the time of editing was just in excess of 26.79%. So the other thing I'd like to point out with regard to ticker symbol SPRT, this is one of the most heavily shorted stocks on the Nasdaq. So if we have a look at the short float, it's just 38.59% at time of editing. Shares outstanding 24.1 million. So certainly it's in terms of social media, there's lots of chatter with regard to a squeeze, and there is definitely a potential for that. The one other thing I'd like to focus on here is the RSI. The RSI we can see here is just 75.42. So what that indicates, it is heavily overbought. So personally, what I would look for is a little bit of a pullback, cooling off, and then possibly there is a good chance of a squeeze in this stock. The other thing I'd like to update you with regard to this stock is a news article shared on the Discord, and we can see on here, support.com provides update on merger transaction process. So what basically we're saying here is there is one of the reasons for a potential squeeze and growth in the share price is a merger that was announced. So if we look at the article here, it states that support.com, a leader in customer and technical support solutions delivered by home-based employees, today announced an update on the merger transaction process with Greenwich Generation Holdings Incorporated. So certainly this was announced on March the 19th, 2021. So the merger has not yet happened, but it's certainly confirmed. So one other thing I'd like to draw your attention to in the second part of this article is there is going to be a special shareholder meeting. This has been scheduled for September the 10th, 2021 at 8 p.m. So this is going to be looking at approving the proposed merger. So notice that the special meeting has already been sent to the shareholders. So again, key date for your diary, September the 10th, 8 p.m, where there will be a special meeting. What I'd now like to do is again focus on the potential short squeeze. So this is an article shared in the Discord. The article is dated 23rd of August 2021 from Benziga, and the headline here is "Could support.com get squeezed to the moon?" ? So the shares were definitely trading higher on the Monday. So we saw a huge increase on the Mondays. The company, as we already have seen, has announced a reverse merger with Greenwich Generation Holdings back in March. So that's a company that is involved in Bitcoin mining. So again, huge potential going forward there. So support.com has been identified by Benziga as a major short squeeze candidate back on July the 14th. At that time, the stock was trading around about $4.27. So we can see certainly the stock has doubled, more than doubled since then. Certainly some good information in this article. So the support.com now has got 6.4 million shares held short, or about 64.5% of its float, which is very, very significant. So let's just finish off by looking at the second part of the article, and this is a reference here to Ortex, and Ortex Analytics have also identified support.com as one of its 8 top short squeeze candidates, and this was identified back in July. So short sellers fighting back. Former hedge fund manager Will Mead said the latest S3 numbers suggest short sellers are fighting hard to keep support.com from gaining more bullish momentum. So there is pressure from the shorts. So whoever is shorting the stock is putting up a good fight. But what we did see this week from the Monday, certainly looks like the retail investors may be getting the upper hand. Again, we have to see what happens going forward. I would certainly never underestimate the shorts, but signs are good. The short interest and the float are certainly suggesting that this stock is definitely primed for a squeeze. What I would now like to do is get an idea in terms of the company fundamentals from a financial point of view. So I'm going to start by here having a look at the consolidated balance sheet. So we've got the period ended June the 30th, 2021, and comparing that with this close of play December 31st, 2020. So in terms of total assets, what we can see on the screen, close of play December 2020, total assets were just in excess of 39 million. And the most recent figures that we've had, for which are currently unaudited, just in excess of $46 million in total assets. So this includes cash and equivalents in excess of 32 million. It also includes short-term investments in excess of 6 million. So let's compare that with the liabilities. December liabilities were just in excess of 4 million, and in June, close of play June 30th, 2021, the liabilities are just in excess of 5 million. So what that tells me is the company is cash rich. Company is very, very healthy in terms of the balance sheet. No significant risk in terms of paying their debts, and going forward and financing operations and continuing to operate, it's in a very, very strong and healthy position. Finally, if anybody is considering making an investment in this stock, just be aware that this is a highly volatile stock with high risk, certainly very, very volatile. So if I was to consider an entry in this, I would certainly look for a good pullback, possibly around the $8.50 mark. And there's also a chance it may not come back to that in the short term, and it could be one of those stocks that just runs away, possibly in excess of $15, possibly in excess of $20. So high risk, high return, but certainly I would consider an investment in this if there is a good pullback around $8.50. And finally, if anybody is interested in the $1 Million Challenge, details in the description below. It'd be great if you join us on our journey. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.